I'm going to walk you through how to hold an in-class simulation on supply and demand for skilled labor. I'm going to start by explaining what each piece of the simulation represents. The cupcakes represent a variety of jobs from high skill to low skill. The students, with the exception of 15% of them, who will be used as facilitators, represent workers with different educational levels ranging from high school diploma to master's degree, and the tokens represent the individual's ability to get a desirable job. This means that the more tokens an individual has, the greater their ability is to get a desirable job. Those with a higher level of education will be allocated more tokens than those with a lower level of education. The objectives of the simulation are: engage the class in an activity in which students experience the effect of supply and demand that is relatable and reproducible. Teach the students through the simulation and through notes from Thomas Piketty's book, Capital in the 21st Century, about how the lack of or abundance of supply and demand affect price. Now I'm going to explain how the simulation should be conducted. First, divide the class into groups: master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, high school diplomas, and facilitators. The master's degrees should make up 15% of the class, so in a class of 20 students, 3 students would be in this group. The bachelor's degrees should make up 30% of the class, 6 students in a class of 20. The high school diploma should make up 40% of the class, 8 students, and the facilitators should make up 15% of the class, 3 students. Step 2. Acquire cupcakes or some other commodity that would represent something very desirable, somewhat desirable, and not very desirable. The amount of cupcakes should be 4.5 cupcakes per student. So in a class of 20 students, you would need 90 total cupcakes, 30 for each individual group. Step 3. Allocate tokens to each member of each group of students. The master's degrees should have 9 tokens each, the bachelor's degrees should have 6 tokens each, and the high school diplomas should have 3 tokens each. Step 4. In the first round, all the groups of cupcakes, or jobs, will be priced the same at 3 tokens each. Step 5. Begin the purchase of cupcakes. This will simulate the demand for jobs in the marketplace. Step 6. The master's degrees will start by purchasing cupcakes. They must buy as many cupcakes as they can afford. They can select from any of the 3 groups of cupcakes. The working assumption is that the individual will purchase the most they can from the most desirable group. Step 7. After the master's degrees complete their purchase, they will be followed by the first bachelor's degree, who will have 6 tokens to spend and must work within the same rule structure as the master's degrees. Step 8. Finally, the high school diploma will follow and have 3 tokens to spend following the same rule structure. Step 9. Once the third individual has chosen their cupcake or cupcakes, the cycle begins again, starting with the next master's degree, followed by bachelor's degree, and ending with high school diploma. Once a certain education group has finished, continue following the same order with just the groups that are left until every individual has used their tokens. Step 10. Officially end the first round. Facilitators must then calculate the new price for each cupcake. To calculate the new price of each cupcake group, determine the percentage of the supply of each group that has been depleted and increase the price of the cupcake by the same percentage. So if the supply were depleted by 30%, the price of the cupcake would increase by 30%. The final cupcake price must be rounded up to the next whole unit. Step 11. Replenish every individual's tokens with the same amount as they received in the first round. Make the individuals aware of the new cupcake prices and follow the same process for purchasing cupcakes as you did in the previous round. It is now possible that an educational group may not have enough tokens to purchase any cupcakes. If that is the case, they are excluded from this and the subsequent round of purchasing. Any amount of tokens left over is forfeited. For example, if a cupcake now costs 4 tokens and a bachelor's degree has 6 tokens to spend, the 2 leftover tokens must be forfeited. Step 12. Officially end round 2. Facilitators should now recalculate prices again for any of the remaining cupcake groups. Use the same formula for repricing as was used in the previous round. For example, if the cupcake supply now has been depleted 70% from the starting amount, the price of the cupcakes will increase by 70%. Some cupcake supply may be completely depleted. Step 13. Begin round 3 and follow the same procedure as was followed in round 2, including replenishing each individual's tokens. Step 14. Officially end round 3, which will end the simulation. Now we must analyze what happened during the simulation. Have individuals tally up the value of their cupcakes. Assign a value of 3 points for the most desirable cupcake, a value of 2 for the somewhat desirable cupcake, and a value of 1 for the not very desirable cupcake. If an individual has amassed a total point value of 13 or more, they have been hired for a high-skilled job. If an individual has amassed a total between 8 and 12 points, they have been hired for a middle management job. If an individual has amassed 7 points or less, they have been hired for a general labor job. Ask the class how they saw supply and demand play out during the simulation. Explain that in a skilled labor job market, supply decreases as demand increases. This should also hold true for the simulation. As you saw during the simulation, demand eventually eliminated an entire group of cupcakes, which represented a loss of a job availability for that group. Another important thing you may have seen was as supply for a particular cupcake decreased, the price of those cupcakes, representing the salary for that job, went up. You'll notice that those with a higher education had the most access to the most desirable jobs. The opposite was also true, in that those with the least education were fairly quickly priced out of the skilled labor job market.